First, I shall disappoint people by saying that I am not in the least religious. My father was once the Second Church Estates Commissioner. I was christened and I was confirmed, but since then I have lost those beliefs and faith that I once had, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that. With these brave words, James Arbuthnot, a conservative British MP of the Tory party, came out as an atheist after serving for over a quarter century in the district of Northeast Hampshire as a closeted unbeliever. Arbuthnot, who formerly served as Tory chief whip and held a position known as front bench for a party known to appeal to Anglican voters, has only a few months left to serve before he leaves the House of Commons for good. The MP said, "It may be true that the pressure on a conservative politician, particularly of keeping quiet about not being religious, is very similar to the pressure that there has been about keeping quiet about being gay." He added, "It is telling that it has taken me 28 years in this House, and frankly in the knowledge that I won't be standing in the next election, to make this point." With the unimposing title of Stand with the Prophet Against Terror and Hate, a fundraiser, education, and awareness seminar in Richardson, a small community near Garland, Texas, has brought out the haters. Shouting through a bullhorn such thing as "Time to repent," and "Islam is filled with murder, this is your wake-up call," and "How many of you Muslims are terrorists?" Reuben Israel, the street preacher from Los Angeles, gathered with about a dozen other Christian protesters outside ISD's Caldwell Center. Other reports indicate that several hundred other protesters from groups such as Jihad Watch were also gathered in protest. That group's director, Robert Spencer, said of the Muslims, "They have too long controlled the discourse and shut down any honest examination of motives and goals of terrorists by crying Islamophobia." The FBI has also been alerted to several threats of violence received through social media. The event was organized by the Islamic Multimedia Foundation Sound Vision, which is headquartered in Chicago. Alia Salem, with the North Texas chapter of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, said that 500 participants attended the event to raise money for their program to educate others about Islam and Muslims for the purpose of combating Islamophobia, terrorism, and hate. 2 years ago, the Infidel brought you the story of Tanzania's black market trade in albino body parts. In that report, we told you that the UN speculated that upwards of 72 albino persons had been killed in the African country since the turn of the century, although only 5 such crimes have been prosecuted successfully. Since that report, the number of albino victims has continued to expand. It is now so prevalent that in the last 3 years alone, over 70 new victims have been accounted for. Most recently, a 4-year-old albino girl was kidnapped and ritually slaughtered by a group of armed men in the northern Mwanza district. The killings result from claims by witch doctors that albino flesh has medicinal qualities. Finally, the Tanzanian government has responded with an official ban of witch doctors, although many believe this effort will do nothing to curtail the trade and slaughter. Others worry that the ban will adversely affect herbalists and other traditional healers who are not involved in the killings. Father Pyrrhus Rutachura, Vice Chancellor at the Catholic University of East Africa in Kenya, said, "We need to research and understand why witch doctors prefer albino body parts and why many people believe them."